Hey guys, my name's Jack Egbert. My speech today is about the dangers of the internet and the role parents could play in helping our children avoid some of the problems the internet poses. There's many things about the internet that can potentially be troublesome if they're not uh, discussed and our children aren't aware of them. First thing I think about in regards to internet safety is the show Dateline NBC's To Catch a Predator, show where a people communicate online. Older men agree to go meet what they think is a teenage, girl or guy, and it's actually an undercover cop. And the whole premise is that they know the parents aren't home, and they get there and they get arrested, and it's just it's pretty disturbing to see the amount of people who actually show up to try to do this, knowing that parents aren't home. Uh, Polls show that 60% of teenagers agree to a meeting like this with someone that they've met only over the internet. So about 16% of our teenagers are willing to go meet someone over the internet, having no clue who they actually are. Um, Child Research Center poll says that 1 in 5 teenagers who log in regularly to the web receive unwanted sexual solicitation of some sort. So just by going on the web, 20% of our kids, teenagers, are receiving some sort of solicitation sexually. Another issue that's just come about relating to this pretty big national story is catfishing. There's a show about it on MTV. Um, if anyone's familiar, Manti Te'o, star football player from Notre Dame, was involved in this. He had an ongoing online relationship with a girl who he called his girlfriend, but he had never met. Only that it turned out that it was actually a guy and a whole bunch of imposters posing as her. It was a pretty embarrassing situation for him, and one, certainly where he had to answer a lot of questions. Another problem on the internet is identity theft. It's another issue that's been happening more and more lately. Hacking into bank accounts and other people's personal information. Really, all it takes is for you to just respond with a little bit of your personal information on your computer, and people can find out about you. This can lead to people pretending to be you, and eventually, if it gets real bad, pretty much taking over your whole life. Ruining your finances, your credit can just turn into a huge problem down the road for you. Uh, Another area is our social media sites, such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Uh, People just post stuff on here and tweet to each other, and they think it's between them and their friends or whoever their friends are restricted to on their social media site. But all it takes is one of their friends to copy it, and the message is passed along for everyone to see. And these things can't be erased. We see all the time tweets from celebrities, athletes, other public figures where they say something, it becomes a huge story in the media, and they have to come out and respond to it, whether it's an apology, but it certainly just provides situations and unneeded headaches that they don't want to deal with. This type of issue, besides the embarrassment and backlash you could receive for it, could lead to more serious issues. I know my wife is a counselor at her school, and there's a sixth grade student who they haven't been able to figure out who it was yet, had created a fake Instagram account, posing as another student. Started out as a friendly joke, and now after a week or so, it's a major police investigation after some threatening posts on there. So see how quickly this stuff can turn into a serious situation. Next area I'm going to discuss is bullying. Um, Bullying is another thing that's become more prevalent here, especially with the internet. It makes it a lot easier to do. You can just post stuff about people, whether it's anonymously or your name's attached to it. You don't have to physically do it in person. And this has become a topic. Some anti-bullying campaigns going on. The law here in North Carolina, where I live, states that bullying is any reasonable fear or harm to a student's person or property. And the resulting punishments for this are a Class 1 misdemeanor if you're an adult, or a Class 2 misdemeanor if you're a minor and you commit bullying. Certainly, two things. If something, it's not the same old schoolyard bullying that it used to be when we were younger. If you post something on the internet about someone, it can turn into a legal situation for you. In 2010, two Estero, Florida girls were arrested and charged with felony for aggravated stalking of a minor for posting a fake Facebook account where they had sexually explicit photos on this girl's account, who used to be a former friend of theirs, and they're no longer friends. And when asked why she would do something like that, she said she thought it would be a funny joke. Well, I'm sure it was not funny for her when she was in house arrest for 21 days waiting to be arraigned on a felony charge. So these are just a few examples of how significant the problems on the internet are. More and more of our children have access to social media, and we need to be more aware of what they are doing while on the internet. Some ideas that a parent can put into play to monitor their children. Obviously, just overall to have an idea of what your kids are doing on the computer. Um, Discuss some rules with them and some guidelines so they know what they can and cannot do. And this can help open up a correspondence between you two where they can feel a little more comfortable discussing with you what's going on. 27% of children who have received unwanted solicitation told their parents. So this leaves a large amount of children who receive unwanted solicitation who don't discuss it with their parents. By discussing this stuff with our children and making them feel comfortable with us, they will feel like they can discuss something like this without getting in trouble. Also, 63% of teenagers say they know how to hide from their parents what they're doing on the internet. This goes again to say, at the end of the day, most kids are going to be able to hide from us. Whether we set parental controls or monitor what they're doing, they'll still be able to sneak it in. So it's better for them to feel comfortable with us and have a kind of agreement on what they can and cannot do. Another thing is to keep the computer in an open area or common area. This way, if they are on the internet, they know you're there. Whether when something comes up that they maybe shouldn't be doing, they know you're close and could come in. You don't want to be breathing down their necks or feel like you're smothering them, but just to let them know you're there might keep them from doing certain activities that they shouldn't be doing. Another thing is to allot some time for them to spend on the internet. Don't just give them free reign where they can go on the internet all night. Maybe if they have a certain schedule where they're only allowed for a certain time, they'll be able to be more productive and enjoy their time a little more. Another stat shows that teens who have parents who talk to them a lot about the internet are 8% less likely to meet someone they don't know on the internet. So just that little bit of awareness makes it almost 1 out of 10 chance that they wouldn't be willing to meet someone who they just met. Also, just as far as the identity theft goes, just alert your children that any kind of personal information, as long as if they're not exactly 100% sure who they're talking with, whether it's a random screen name or an email, never to give out any kind of personal information, family information, where you live, what you're doing, when you're going to be home, when you're not. All this type of stuff can lead to serious problems. Updating when you're not home on Facebook and letting everyone in the world to know that your family's not there and your house is unprotected is a thing that could lead to a problem. So, I mean, in the future, I think if children are made aware of the dangers presented by the internet, they can be able to enjoy it a little more safely, and parents can not worry as much about it. The internet can be a great place for people to connect with friends, research, and spend time if they do it properly. In conclusion, I just think if parents can take a more active role in monitoring what their children are doing while also keeping a two-way line of communication open with them, they'll be able to allow their children to enjoy the internet safely and effectively.